Hi, friends. Suqqu has recently released their spring color collection for 2023, and this collection is inspired by trees, plants, freshness, all those soft hues that start to emerge when spring arrives. And it kind of reminded me of their inspiration for their winter collection, where they pulled from winter rose types of hues, but it was very much kind of spring-like at the same time. That moment when winter goes into spring, where plants start to grow even with snow. It's a beautiful vision, and I think that's what Suqqu wanted to capture with their winter collection. But with spring now, we have these soft muted hues and a couple of pieces, and I wanted to thank the team over at Suqqu for sending me a few selects from the spring 2023 collection. They sent me one of the quads, the limited edition one, yes, two of the treatment wrapping lippies. There are, I believe, 6 in all. I was very excited to receive these because this is a new formula for Suqqu. 3 melting powder blush shades, 2 mascara shades, and 3 nuance liner shades. Let's begin with the quad, and I have swatches here showing the colors from 122 Harukazezome limited edition quad. Again, 1 out of the 3 for this collection. We have the bleached pink and almond beige, colorful flowers, grasses. That is the color board for this quad. And up close, just look how beautiful the violet shade is. We have one matte, which is again this blushed pink with the other textures in here. And what I adore about Suqqu's eyeshadow formula is just the simplicity of it, but there's an elegance too without being... The bar of entry is low in terms of makeup technique requirement. You don't need to blend these mattes for long. They're so soft that you can build the color as you like. So blended out is going to have a much lighter consistency on the lids. If you wanted to pack it on, you can. But what I adore is the shine factor without the textures being heavy on the skin, right? It's going to still look reflective on the lids, and that allows you to layer to your heart's content, where you're able to create really beautiful gradients of color. And it's for the person that, loves the luxe makeup, but really enjoys a lighter weight texture in eyeshadow formula, in that the powders are just lightweight and whipped. It's almost like they're ground silk, right? And what I experience from Suqqu shadow. So that was 122, the limited quad. I decided to buy, let's see here, number 12, Koujizome, the smoky brown and maple brown. I had to get the shade, the green gray. My goodness. So this quad houses 2 mattes and 2, well, I will say, I guess, metallic and 1 shimmer topper. Number 13, Ranmanzome, the rich orange quad. I skipped on because 1, it wasn't limited, it's permanent. Number 2, it kind of reminded me of Anka. Anka released, I believe, last summer. So although not quite the same, similar in terms of the tones and overall feel. I believe the spring quad had more of like an orange matte and a lighter taupe matte. Another one I wanted to share was number 10 from the autumn collection, Ito Hatsumi. I thought this was similar in feel with what was in the spring collection. 120 was from holiday 2022, Fuyu Sobi. I thought this was not as similar. I think this is a little more neutral overall, but because of this, is it a shimmer? I believe it reminded me of that taupe color in number 13. We'll go into those demos for sure, and we do have timestamps for this video, fam. If you just wanted to skip over to the demos and not really go about the swatches and details, then I totally understand. Melting powder blushes, all 3 shades. I was very grateful to receive 104 Koujizome, the fresh orange. Oh my goodness. I have fresh orange on me now. Here is the swatch and the application. It's hard to come by an orange this perfect. I am exaggerating. What I feel compelling about this shade is that it's more muted. And with orange, depending on the season and where my complexion is at shade-wise, it could look a little too vibrant or look like nothing at all. And just for context, for instance, I have here this shade 125. I think this was from a holiday release, so it didn't really show up on my skin tone, and that was the Pure Color Blush in the matte formula. 127, I believe, was out of the Autumn 2022 collection. This had an orange hue to it as well, but a lot softer, and it kind of just melted into my skin and didn't have an apparent vibrancy to my complexion. 133, I forgot where this was from. Was this Autumn? Let me double check. I think I wrote it down somewhere. I might not have. Oh, no. 133 was from Autumn. The one I previously showed probably was from Holiday, because I distinctly remember how much I love 132. This was more coral hot, definitely had more of a distinct color on the cheeks when I blended there. The shade that I thought of that I thought closely resembled 104 was this one here. I believe it's number 3. So not quite orange. I think there's another one, however. I could have sworn I had another shade. I found it. Let's first swatch 104 from the current spring collection. And from the original Melting Powder Blush release, we have number 6. So you see just how different these hues are in terms of vibrancy. Look how different it is, but that's kind of the effect that 103 gives me. Is a little more yellow leaning, whereas number 6, a lot more vibrant. Yeah, that's gonna have more of a literal orange look to the skin, which I'm not mad at whatsoever. I think it's because, like I had mentioned, depending on the season, I tend to wear more neutral, muted shades in my wardrobe. So to have this color on with like this beige top, it looks very contrasting versus in the summertime or even spring, where I have a little more color in the wardrobe, perhaps wear something that reflects the color that's in that compact. I think a little more like streamlined. The other shade is 05. So this is like more, oh god, a crimsical shade. And compared to 103, definitely more light. So that's going to be more of like a highlight. And why not? If you have both, you can use number 5 lower on the cheeks instead, and then have 103 higher. But like you saw in the B-roll, this shade just nails it for me, and I'm more inclined to wear it just because it gives my complexion warmth, but it's still a little more muted. It's not as vibrant as like what I showed in number 6 here. Not that it's bad, but this is really pretty. That was sent to me, so I bought 103 Nadeshikozome and 105 Shirazora, the translucent lilac, and number 103 was the soft pink. Here is the lilac shade, which I had such crazy FOMO for not buying. Ooh, that's so pretty. The lilac blush, I forgot what collection it was, but I just had to get it, and why not? I think it's time for you to get in a little closer because we're gonna start rolling into these demos. That's enough. With lilac or a shade like this, light fluffy brush indeed-ish, but there's just so much more pink in here. I think it's lovely. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm applying this first impression style. I'm gonna back up. I really like that more pink, almost opalescent effect on the skin. So not that it's reflective or shiny, there is sheen because the Melting Powder Blush formula, if you don't know, released last year from Suqqu, it definitely has a moussey texture in the pan, and because of that, it's going to leave more of a sheen after the blend. more emollient than their pure color blush formula, which is an all matte powder. Just to compare, let me quickly wipe this off, reapplying just a little bit of Hourglass, and I'm gonna whip this with my Ray Morris. Oh, the lilac is gorgeous. I'm happy I bought this. I was back and forth during Selfridges checkout and was like, I don't know, but so happy I get it. 103 Nadeshikozome, the soft pink blush. My apologies, I did not properly space these. So that's the soft pink. And the reason why I wanted to get this, because I have a thing, although I said that pink is not my favorite blush shade, but when it comes to Suqqu, I'm a sucker. I wanted to just still have more of a muted experience from a blush shade this color. And much like 104, I had to build, which I don't mind doing whatsoever. Ooh, but I'm happy that this is a little more neutral versus where I get from the fresh orange shade, a little more warm. And forget it, with the lilac shade, I think that'll be just gorgeous layered over on top. Let's grab the lilac shade here. I'll use my Designer Pro again, maybe place it a little higher just so it could overlap. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh my goodness. I do prefer 105 over number 1. I believe this was from their initial release where the lilac was much cooler and had a similar like opalescent feel to it. But I feel this one from spring has a little more juice in there. It's the same formula, but it has a little bit of that pink lean to it, especially when you blend it out. Oh, and it goes well, whether you layer it over the soft pink shade or the orange shade. So good. Now with those blushes out of the way, my apologies that I didn't do extensive comparisons to soft pink. I just have so much Suqqu compacts on my desk right now. My brain already exploded, but it's about to explode again. So let's move on. Going into the treatment wrapping lip, an exciting release for Suqqu. This is a new formula for the brand. Going over a few details about the formula: locks in moisture, protects and smoothes, lightweight yet rich, unique blend of wax and jelly polymers, create a firm, thick film with a pliable texture. I was gracious enough to receive 2 treatment wrapping lip shades, number 3 and number 4. Number 3, Mitsukome, is a stylish brown that leans very warm. Number 4 is Tsuyarenga, the terracotta. And I just died when I discovered I was getting the terracotta shade. There are 6 shades in all, and from the 2 I received, I decided to purchase 102 Awahaneiro, the caramel beige. So first you saw the number 3 swatch, and I'll show you the B-roll here of how that looks like with the 104 Fresh Orange Melting Blush. Oh my goodness, this definitely was a monochromatic moment, and the brown definitely leans more like light orange brown, and the formula itself, it definitely feels like a gloss. It's super buttery and silky on the skin, and even when it wears down, your lips don't feel dry. They feel like plush and treated. So I do feel this is an appropriate name for this product, and the component itself, beyond luxurious. I just love this gradient frosted tube here. You have the cap with the Suqqu logo on the top, and just the look of it, it's like the frost is melting. Very visual, very much aligning with the theme, I think, of spring. And here I applied number 4, Tsuyarenga, the terracotta shade. This is absolutely beautiful. And I was back and forth when checking out whether to buy one of the pink shades or like the bluish pink shade. There was also a limited edition lavender tinted shade. Again, I was like, I'd rather just get the limited lilac blush than the gloss, because I felt that would have translated better on my cheeks versus on my lip. But the terracotta shade is just beautiful. It has the right amount of warmth and almost like a rosiness, leaning a little more red in tone, and especially when paired again with the orange shade that I plopped it on with, it's just gorgeous, very sophisticated. And if I were to compare this with the Fluid Lip Glow formula, the Fluid Lip Glow is an actual liquid lipstick, right? That's going to have more pigmentation, and it's going to leave behind just a stronger base of color on the lips, despite it still applying like a gloss and being very shiny in the finish. The Wrapping Treatment Lip is a gloss, but just has a beautiful plush texture, a little more translucent than the Fluid Lip Glow. Just an incredible product to apply, especially because of how the doe foot applicator is designed. Very flexible at the base, but it has a slant, so the entire base of the doe foot applicator presses against your lip, and it does come to a point, so you have that precision there when working the wand around your lip, which I think you don't even need a mirror to apply this. That's how easy it is. And here are all the 3 shades that I have now. Just gorgeous, my goodness. Like I said, the packaging is beautifully clever, just to kind of represent that, like, I don't know what else to say. This is number 2, the caramel beige. I know this reminds me of, and I wanted to find it for this video, please forgive me, it's a Fluid Lip Glow shade. I want to say it's Haratsumi, but I don't think it is. If you go to my Fluid Lip Glow video, where I have timestamps for that video as well, if you go, it's number 8 in the Glow formula. That is more beige and definitely has more of a color left behind, but I couldn't ask for a more perfectly tinted caramel lip gloss. My goodness. And there's no smell. There's not even like a weird taste. Some lip glosses or lip oil treatments, whatever, they got like a taste thing going on where lessens the pleasant experience of applying it in the first place. But this, no scent, no strange taste. I don't know how Suqqu does it. If I wanted, I could apply a little bit of number 4. The terracotta. Ooh, that's nice. That is nice. If I just wanted a little more color on the lip, number 2 is going to be my go-to for every day. Most definitely. Because sometimes I want shine, but I don't want so much color, especially if I'm not wearing anything on the eyes, maybe very light on the blush. So that's, okay. Few other pieces to cover. The mascara I have, or was sent, my apologies, number 107 in Bordeaux. This has just a beautiful burgundy tint to it. It's like a blood red. And I haven't used the mascara yet, so we will definitely get to that in the demo. And I was also sent the Nuance Liner in 04 Bordeaux as well. This is not limited. The 2 shades that are limited, 108 the leaf green, 109 the sakura pink. And I tried my hardest, and I did not buy those limited edition shades because I have limited edition shades that I bought from other collections that I haven't been using. Very grateful for the gift. I'll just keep it at that. And here is the Bordeaux shade. I think this is an interesting color. I applied it yesterday on top of black coffee because I had it on from earlier, and it's pretty. It might be hard to distinguish on the eyes, but I think depending on what you apply it with could determine that. And I do have this shade 106. I think this was from autumn 2022. Definitely more muted than I think what the sakura pink would look like. I think the pink would be a little more lighter, like have a stronger white base to the color. But I thought of this shade and was like, you don't need the sakura pink, okay? Let's get into the demo. I think we should apply some primer, okay? Using Danessa's Color Fix. It's in a pot and just fairly easy to get on the lids, So that has been my go-to as of late. I need to get into 122 first, and I wanted to briefly show the quad from autumn, which I thought of when I saw this shade, or rather signature color quad. This is 121 Kanka from autumn 2022, and because it had that green, I just made the comparison. They're still fairly different. I would say 121 is a little more neutral. This definitely has a little more color to it. And I actually applied this yesterday over what I had on earlier. It's so simple to just use. Again, the colors, they cocktail themselves easily. You don't have to think much about it, which is why I adore Suqqu shadows. They're just effortless, you know what I'm saying? Wanted to show this shade first because in the pan, it looks just like a highlighter shade, but it actually has a kind of like a peach flip. And from the entire palette, this is the more subdued shade, right? It's not gonna have the same twinkle factor as these two here, but it's gonna have really nice shine and does serve well as my highlighter shade for the inner corner. It could also be your lid color of choice if you wanted to be minimalist about it, perhaps just do your liner across the lash line. Let's go in with this shade here. Fluffy brush time. This like pink. Oof. The texture is smooth, effortless across the skin. You can build this to however you want. Heck, you could just wear it all over if you wanted to create that beautiful blushed effect on the eyes. And then with the violet shade, which I'll go in now with my finger, just look how beautiful that applies. And again, the reflectivity is astounding. Without the actual shadow being heavily textured, that's what I adore about Suqqu, or Suqqu's formula, I should say, is that you can have the glitz and the twinkle without it latching on to your lid texture if you are battling with that, because there are a lot of shadows that in order for them to bring the shine, they also got to bring the texture because of those flecks being bigger in the powder to reflect more light. But there's so much pearl in here that you don't need all that. 100%. Going back in with my fluffer here to pull the edges together. Why not? I'm gonna bring the violet shade under my eyes also, and wanted to show you the two ways you can use this more lime chartreuse. It's tough to see because of all the light, but it actually has like a lime finish to the reflect. And two things, you can wear this on top of the violet to provide even more dimension and for the lid to appear more standout. Yeah, so that's going to bring more brightness to the center of the eye and advantageous for the formula to be lightweight. So when you layer it as such, it's not going to look heavy on the eyes. You know what I mean? But if you want it to appear more concentrated, you can pinpoint the application right here, or it could have been on the inner corner. I like to push it right on the inner lower part of my lash line just so it has that brightening effect to the entire look. You could also bring the left over and trail it out. I'm just putting in, getting a little more blend here. Yes, yes. You could also wet your brush if you wanted more adherence from the shadow, but I think that's pretty all on its own. Getting into number 12. I know this was like basic B because of these two browns. Ooh, I haven't even swatched it yet, so let's do. This is the Twinkle shade here, the light brown matte, which is like my skin tone, but I know the more maple brown matte. Ooh, that's pretty. What I've been waiting for, the greenish gray. Oh my goodness, that we're doing it. We're putting it on. If you want to see how this appears on my skin tone, let's give it a whirl. Probably just, I mean, very light is going to give me a light carving, a light sculpting, yeah. So I would rely on this shade for a very minimalist makeup, right? Just the right amount of sculpting for the eye. If I wanted other things to shine, going in with the more maple brown, hitting the outer corner here, tapping first, and then pulling it through the crease. So that first shade will help create a gradient here through the crease, so that the maple brown has something to stand on. Just whipping the brush around and pulling the edges out. Ooh, even that by itself. We could go in with the reflective shade, and just to show you what that does, it just has a veil-like consistency, which I think gorgeous to rely on for a little sparkle, but not too much. But we're going in with this greenish gray something, and you know what? I have my Max Fix Plus right here. I want to see what this can do. Pulling that across the lid. Ooh, it has like a almost charcoal greenish hue on the color. I'm so happy about this one. Again, I love the rich orange shade from the other quad. Those are gorgeous, but I felt like I had a lot from Enka that had similar shades in there. I thought this green gray was just beautifully unique. I'm gonna whip this through the crease, pull it down a little bit so it has a really nice transition there. Taking my fluffer again and whipping it very gently. I don't want it to travel too high. Gotta take this across the lower lash line 100%. This brush is a little big, but ooh, I want it to be hazy. I like the haze. And I'm pulling it out a touch more from the lash line. Yes, that's what we want. We like, we approve. And for the inner corner, of course, this topper shade that actually has like a bluish shift to it, like that chartreuse lime from this palette. You could apply it as standalone highlight, or you can tap it over so it brings out an even brighter color from the first metallic shade. And I'm swishing this in so it doesn't appear like it's coming to an abrupt stop. I want this to appear smoother, so I'm pulling both colors together but still having this shade as like the prominent highlight moment for the inner corner. And why not? Just put a little here on the brow bone. Tap, tap, tap. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. You know what? We should do it on this side as well, but with the more lime. I want to say chartreuse. I don't know if that's correct, but we like her on the brow. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, why not? Let's try the liner. I'll try it on here. I think you can pretty much see still what's going on with that because the color, I think it's deep enough, but let's see. I'm gonna start with the wing. Oh boy. I don't think it'll show that much. It's gonna show a little bit, but I believe the violet shade is just taking away because it's a similar shade. Okay, we see, we feel, we like. How about I'll do a quick wipe. I'm gonna take some of my CeraVe, tap it on there. So when I wipe, easy removal. Taking my Danessa again, going in with the same matte shade that we began the look with, but I'll kind of parallel with it so that you could actually see the Bordeaux shade. And I actually like the violet on the bottom. Why not? Let's keep it there. And we still have to do the mascara. All right, better now. So let's sketch this out again. Ooh, pretty. There it is, the beetroot liner. You see it's very like subdued, very chill. I like the color, it's different. It's, you know, something out from the norm, not your typical brown, black, but you can still kind of see that there is a color, but it's like, it piques interest, like, but which color is it? I'm gonna let that dry and go in on this side to curl these lashes. You know, it'd be interesting. What if we could see the Bordeaux mascara over the gray? That could be something. Curl the lashes. Let's see how this color looks. If you could even tell. Oh, you can tell. Wow. You know what's different between these and Pat's mascaras? Pat's mascaras, I feel, are like pigment, whereas these feel like actual mascaras instead. But you get really nice color from them. Ooh, the Bordeaux is nice. And I'm sure if I added another coat, it will appear more robust. I like the wand as well. It's thin with a taper. It comes to a tip, which makes it very easy to maneuver around just tighter to reach areas, so you don't actually have to place mascara on the skin you don't want mascara on. All right, let's go on this side and see. I kind of want something on the lid, so I thought it'd be nice to maybe apply the more like peachy champagne shade on the actual lid, just so you can see how soft it is. It doesn't have that same twinkle effect as the violet or the chartreuse shade, but it has a beautiful sheen that I think kind of help elevates the Nuance Liner. All right, let's see how this looks now with the mascara. I wonder how the beige shade would look. So there are two mascara shades in the collection, this one and the beige. That would have looked interesting, but I think I'm gonna keep the Bordeaux. You could definitely detect that shade like on the base of the lashes, for sure. And I like the mascara. Like the actual mascara formula isn't bad either. Like maybe I should look into getting a Suqqu mascara. Do you want to see? I think I want to wear this with the caramel brown. It has my heart. What can I say? And here we have our final looks using not only the selects I was sent from the Suqqu team, but from the pieces I bought from Selfridges. I am very happy with this collection, and I can't speak anything less about Suqqu. Every time they release something, and when they describe the inspiration for the colors they chose, everything is just, well, let me say this. There were two blushes from last collection, I think it was winter, that I wasn't crazy about because the formula was a little more hard pan than usual. I did like the colors, however. There were like the violet that I thought would have been like a little more robust, but you definitely had to build it up. And there was like the warmer orange brown shade that didn't really appear like anything on my skin tone. It was more like a sheen or a glow on my cheeks. But the melting powder blush formulas for spring, especially the lilac shade, took me by surprise. And the orange, like this is just crazy. I mean, I'm gonna use the Mount Fuji brush just to show you the power, okay? And it matches. This is so lovely. I adore this shade. We'll be wearing it not only for spring, but for all of winter as well. I do favor this over the pink shade only because for me to have an orange this tone muted, but still it show up like it does and not just kind of take over my entire face is absolutely perfect. And I'm happy that I bought the pink for sure. It has a different vibe, absolutely. Why not? Let me apply a little more pink, because generally it still leans a little warmer and it's a nice color to have if I were just to wear blush by itself. But when paired with the lilac, unstoppable. The quads, this is my favorite. I do love the limited edition, 100%. But this color right here, it's like, it's gray, but you can detect there's a little bit of like, is almost like a gray blue, like a slate, but it's shiny. With the Bordeaux mascara, it's probably hard to tell on camera, but in person, you will definitely see that my lashes are red. But they're like a blood red, like a very dark muted red. And with the Nuance Liner here, it's a great color. I think it's fantastic, especially if you're not confident with liners or you wanted a wing liner but you thought black or brown looked too harsh for the day. This is a great color to wear for day because it gives the definition, it gives that just a little bit of accentuation for the lash line, but the color itself grounds it a bit more and it's more accessible, I think, to many. Or if you're deeper, it's gonna look like a more contrasting shade on you, so that's gonna probably have a little more of a highlight effect on your lash line, which is another way to go. I think it's fun also to try that as well. The lip treatment though, this formula is just out of this world. Smooth, and definitely reminds me of the concept that Lisa Eldridge had described for her lip embrace. Like, my lips are being hugged right now, but I also feel that there is a treatment in the formula where, again, nourishing and softening to the lips, a great go-to if you wanted that conditioning, but you wanted shine and color as well. And these shades, I think, especially for a first release, are perfect. And I'm still eyeing the pink because you can't go wrong with a pink gloss, but the caramel beige, it was a go-to pick. And also the other two, I think, really beautiful as well. The warmer brown definitely looks a little more orange on me. However, I think I just have to find the right kind of synchronization of eye, blush, and that lip color so everything could look together and to my liking. But it could definitely be a monochromatic moment, 100%, especially if I pair with the orange blush, forget it. And the terracotta shade for me, I like to wear on my own without any eyeshadow or any prominent looks there. Soft blush color. Maybe I have to dip out and go in with Tomoshibi. Tomoshibi is like a warm brown from the original Melting Powder blush release, which I think would pair just gorgeously with the terracotta treatment wrapping lips. So we'll see. Maybe I'll take a picture if I do that combination. Let me know, friends, if you picked up anything from Suqqu's spring color collection, what you've been liking, what you had your eye on. I hope to see you again in the next video, and I'll see you down in those comments. Until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, Suqqu Collection Extravaganza, or monthly faves. Take care, and I will see you again soon.